Today on my podcast, I really wanted to deepen this thing called faith. And I've been thinking about faith versus fear and what it means. What does faith in God mean? Because I think 99% of the time we're so entrenched in fear and we say we're faithful, but we're entrenched in fear. The other day, I was faced with an interesting dilemma. I had a blocked drain and I was like, this drain is blocked. I need to call a plumber. And I could hear a little fear goes, but where are you going to get the money? And I thought to myself, that is so interesting. I have a thought. I stood and I said, I have a thought. I have a choice in this moment to go. I'm going to believe this thought because it's a whisper. I'm going to believe where's the money going to come from? Or I have another choice. And the choice that, I'm going to believe there's money. And as I was grappling with this, I was like, both faith and fear are thoughts. Both have an assumption. The one assumes things will go well. The other one assumes will not go well. But let's look at fear. Where does fear come from? Fear comes from our past. It comes from our teachers, our parents, our grandparents, our colleagues, everywhere. Everywhere we look in the news, there's fear. It's not to say fear is the same as danger. Danger is there. It is a reality. But fear is based on imagination. It's based on our minds going back into the past and saying, we've been in this situation before. You have done it. And I'm bringing you, not even proof. I'm telling you, this is going to be the outcome. It doesn't have proof. It just says, this is going to be the outcome. Why does it feel easier to fear than to have faith? Because we've lived with it, because it's ingrained in our minds. Whereas I think we can say, no, we grew up in a faithful house, but actually faith is a choice. Faith is not like an umbrella of, I'm faithful, God is faithful. No, faith is in the daily actions that we take. Faith is, I don't know what the outcome is, but I'm going to take it anyway. And whatever the outcome, I will learn. Faith is not with ego, is not with other people. What will other people think? And faith doesn't feel like that. It feels not comfortable. It feels peaceful. It feels like you're at ease. Whereas fear feels stress, anxious, and you feel both in your body. So this is my story of, should I call a plumber or shouldn't I call a plumber? Anyway, I leaned into, let me hear what my faith is saying. Let me hear what would faith say. And faith was saying, lean into the unseen before it appears into your eyes. Lean into the unseen before it appears in your eyes. And I had to kind of break that down to go, leaning into the unseen before it comes to my eyes is the same as fear. Fear is a belief that things will go wrong. Faith is a belief and an assumption that things will be all right. It doesn't give us timings though, nor does fear. None require timings. They just suddenly appear. Anyway, I decided, okay, let me try and do something with the drain. But I still leaned into the faith of, I need a plumber and I have faith that all will be well. I have faith that it will work out. And today I was driving somewhere. Can I just tell you, I saw a plumbing truck. And it was so close to me. I could even see the number. I couldn't phone them immediately, but I did a voice memo to myself quickly, illegal I know, to myself on the phone, giving them the number so that when I stopped somewhere, I could I could phone them and give them a WhatsApp. And I thought, wow, I had to rely on the unseen first and rely on my sense that all is well. And then I saw this plumbing truck because I didn't even know who I was going to call. I was like, which plumber must I call? I must go to Google, and I saw the plumbing truck. And that led me to lots of other things we go through in our lives. The fear of the unseen, the fear of what if things don't work out. And I thought, because we've lived in this life of fear, because we are always in fear mode, it becomes the way of being. How about we make faith our way of being? How do we start making faith our daily being, our daily event, our daily action? How do I start being faithful? How do I start making faith part of my life? How do I believe, no matter what is I'm thinking or believing about the news, that I'm okay? And this is my day one of saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm practicing faith in action. The plumber is phoned and she's coming, and my clock on the oven says 10:10. I'm okay. For the first time in my life, I can feel such ease in my body. I'm okay. Things are going well. I am not seeing anything, but I'm feeling that for the first time in my life, I can take a deep breath and know all is well. Faith, you don't see faith. You feel faith. You trust in good things. Faith is not that thing that's loud, that's brash like fear. Faith is quiet. Faith is God. Faith feels like God standing right next to us and just comforting us. Faith is comforting. Fear is also comforting, but in a totally different sense. Fear feels familiar. Faith feels unfamiliar. But that unfamiliar, that is comforting, whereas the fear is comforting, but it brings about anxiety. So I wanted to just talk about the fact that here am I'm practicing faith in action. Yeah, there'll be a time where that little voice inside of me says, what if it goes wrong? But I know I have a choice. I have a choice to go, what if it gets right? What if it works out? What if it's all imagination? What if all I'm doing is imagining the worst? And so I have to learn myself to pattern interrupt my fears by going and leaning all the time with faith. I know my mind is going to want to know, when am I going to see it? And I need to trust that it's not faith is not in the seeing, it is in the feeling. And I want to tell you, all is well. Trust. When you are thinking things are not going well, trust the path. Trust that everything is going well. And whenever you are in fear, know that fear is also a message to tell you are believing in something that is not the truth. But faith is amazing. Have a wonderful day.